Right, yes, enough already. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're dealing with, well, all the latest things today, including the not really a doctor, Peter Attia affair. We'll get to that. We will definitely get to getting him, Rick. Don't worry. If he needed any more getting, I think he's done all the getting that he needs to be got for himself. Really, I think he's got himself. Hung himself by his own testicles, it seems. Maybe. Anyway, allegedly. Yes, it's going to be good. We're going to enjoy this because, not because what's happened is anything that should be funny or enjoyable for anybody. It's disgraceful. It's absolutely unacceptable nonsense. But what's enjoyable about it is my prescience, really, for me anyway, in seeing through the facade of this evil, hateful character who really deserves richly everything that he's going to get coming out of all of this. Frankly, for those who have had your head somewhere warm and moist for a while and have no idea what I'm talking about or what's going on, basically it turns out that not really a doctor, Peter Attia, was a good friend, it seems, of one Jeffrey Ep-Steen, and despite his protestations to the contrary, yet more lies from Peter Attia saying, I'd never visited that island, I never visited that ranch. It seems he did. The evidence is quite clear in the files that have been released this week that, in fact, that's yet another lie, along with the lie, apparently, that Peter Epstein, might as well be, that Peter Attia actually is a practicing medical doctor. Seems like not, actually. He's yet another one of these Gregor / Paul Salad, I don't know who Bart K is characters who never finished a residency, is not board certified in anything, allegedly, is not a competent medical practitioner, allegedly. Whether or not that's true, don't know. That's what I've seen, doing a basic cursory search into the credentials and background of not really a Dr. Peter Attia. Seems like he's not really a doctor, only in title, much like Gregor and Paul Salad, I don't know, dick about fuck. That's a shame for him, but not nearly as much of a shame as the fact that he's been caught literally with his trousers down, having visited and spent quite a bit of time with one Jeffrey Epstein, including at a time when his own son was in critical care following a cardiac arrest, despite emails from his wife begging him to come and attend the bedside. He preferred to stay where he was, playing God knows what sort of games with Jeffrey. Good stuff, scumbag. Right, so you're done, Peter Attia. Have the good grace, for goodness sake, for the love of God, have the good grace to withdraw permanently and completely from public life. Don't ever make another public statement on any topic ever again. Don't show your disgraceful, hateful face anywhere publicly. You are done. You are finished, son. That's it. Not one living human being that is reasonable or even remotely intelligent on this planet gives a rip-roaring rat's ass on anything you have to say on any topic ever again. You're finished. You're done. You can sit and rot until such time as it's decided by the powers that be that your time is actually up. And then you can start to literally do so, and none of us will miss you, I think. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Those are my thoughts on it. I've been saying for a very, very long time that this is a shifty character that should not be trusted, because it was obvious to me. I couldn't put my finger on exactly why it was. Well, there you go. But what I did clearly point to was his absolute, utter arrogance and incompetence in both fields that I am expert in, that he's spoken about publicly, those being exercise physiology and cardiovascular pathophysiology. I'm not an expert in longevity, so-called medicine, and as it turns out, neither is Peter Attia. So there you go. Making himself out to be expert in fields he is not, showing himself clearly to be not an expert in either of the fields that I definitely am, and it seems not an expert in longevity medicine either. So let's see who's in the house. Let's get some thoughts from the floor on this and see what it is. Rick was first in the house. Yes, go get him. Well, as I say, I think he's got himself. Can't wait. Well, you'll have to until just a few minutes ago. I think I've said what I need to say. The floor is pretty much your guys' now, and it is enjoyable. Okay. Yep. Greetings from Norway. Hello. Florida's in the house. Good to see you, Florida. Yeah. So what? Evil is evil. I don't care which side of the floor it sits on. Evil needs to be stamped out wherever it rears its ugly head, whether that's on the right or the left. Don't forget that the right and the left are two wings on the same bird in politics. So that's interesting. Batman carnivore. Well, which is it? Are you a carnivore or are you Batman? Hello from Bali. Oh, okay. Indonesia. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. I've been there. Wacky Toaster's in the house. Good to see you. Nice to see you, Roxana. So, watching from Canada. Okay. Very good. Thumbs up. Yes. Everybody do thumbs up and make sure that you comment under the video both at the moment now and also later when it's a pre-recorded video. Make another comment under it as well. Like it, share it out, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. Am I serious about that stuff? Why wouldn't you be? Why would you not be serious about it? For goodness sake. Yes, I'm serious. King. Oh, I've been promoted. Excellent. Couldn't do a worse job than the current bloke. I guess you saw the video I sent you, or maybe not. I haven't had really much time to look at anything. Those that have been not really following for the last few weeks, there was an issue here a week and a half ago, nearly 2 weeks ago. Somebody living here had a serious medical problem and we had to deal with that, and there's ongoing fallout from that in terms of staff resources. I say staff, nobody here is employed. I mean human resources, other sorts of resources as well. We've got some extra people here to help out in various aspects of various things. The routine is all off whack and there's not a lot of motivation to do the work. It'll return. I'll be back. I'll be back better and stronger and all of that. But there's been a bit going on. So apologies for those who are waiting for me to do things, respond to things, follow up on things. It's a crazy time. But we'll get back to it. Communist New York. Yep. Rightio. I don't think they are keeping him on, are they? Carnivore Invictus. The last I heard is that it was likely that they were going to sever those ties. There's no way even a raving lunatic asylum like the legacy media could possibly, in any good conscience, keep on board on their staff anyone involved with this utterly evil piece of shit in any way, beyond the point where he was convicted in a court of law of the heinous crimes that he was, the late Jeffrey Epstein. Anyone who continued any contact with him in any capacity beyond that point, knowing full well that that's what the case was, you're done. You have no place in decent human society, no place at all. And that includes you, Peter Attia. Don't care who you are, in fact, or what side of the political divide you claim to sit on. So, yes, as I say, I've been a bit busy. That's why I didn't jump on it straight away. Normally I'd jump on these things straight away, but I also did need to make sure that I'd read through all of Ted's postings on X, because Ted's the one that's been following this closely. And I do need to keep a bit of an eye on what Ted's doing over there because, well, you know what Ted's like. He's a bit unmanageable, frankly. I can't do a thing with him. I can't get him to tone down his commentary on really anything, and probably rightly so. I mean, he's his own. Can't even speak. He's his own bear. He does his own thing. He's not me. I'm not him. Those of you that think that Ted on X is me, well, okay, think what you like. He's his own person, bear, man, bear. Don't know. All right, so there it is. This is excellent. Oh, excellent that I'm here. Yes, excellent. What has happened is not excellent. It's not excellent at all. It's horrific. It's disgraceful, and it seems like, among other allegations which seem to be backed up by some pretty clear paper trail here, it seems like Peter Attia failed absolutely to respond to a person who was one of the victims, who saw him at one of the places that Attia claims never to have been, by the way, even though his own assistant sent an email to Jeffrey Epstein talking about his flight details. This is how he's getting there. Apparently, allegedly. Anyway, this person claims to have seen Peter there and claims to have asked Peter Attia for assistance and didn't get it. Okay, well, there it is. There it is. Drew thinks that Bitcoin is going down to around about 50k. Do you? Do you think it's going to go that low? That might. Those of us that understand a little bit about the Bitcoin thing and what it's all about and what the importance of it is and what sort of a game we're playing here, that actually doesn't matter. At the end of the day, the fiat dollar, whichever country you live in, it doesn't matter, the fiat dollar, euro, pound, whatever it is, they will all fail. They will all go to zero. They will all cease to exist at some point, and very, very likely within our lifetimes, actually, whereas that is not the case with the Bitcoin thing, because it's immutable. It cannot be debased. It is deflationary by its very nature. It is the future of finance, money, decentralization, self-sovereignty, control over our lives, etc. So it really doesn't matter what price it does go to. If it does go low, that's awesome for those of us who feel like we might have been too late to get on board a bit, and it gives us another opportunity to get in at a lower level. It's great. Awesome. All right. Thanks for that. If you want to send me some of your sats, by the way, lovely people, there it is there. There's a QR code there that you can scan. It's also written out in full on the yellow ticker tape, which is making its way across the bottom of the screen as we speak. And further to that, you will find it in the show notes underneath this video as well. If you would like to send some sats, that would be appreciated. They won't cost you as much. And don't forget, if you do send me some sats, to replace those sats in your stack with fiat money. Do that today. Because you don't want to end up like that guy that bought 2 pizzas for what turns out to be now, well, not now, it's gone down, but up to very recently, $500 million for 2 pizzas a few years ago, when the stuff was worth much less comparative to the fiat money. So if you're going to either spend Bitcoin on things with people that will accept Bitcoin for payment for goods and services, or if you're going to send me some to support what I do, that's awesome. But what I'm saying is replace it. Buy yourself some more of the same amount that day and put it back. Okay? Right. Peter Attia, I assume, and his behaviour, nearly as egregious as his pushing of statins. Exactly. Well, in fact, probably more so. Really. At least equally. Yeah. Also, yes, Dayspring should be in prison for pushing statins. Anyone that pushes statins should be in prison. Simple as that. Anyone that pushes the completely fallacious, utterly vacuous, totally scientifically devoid lipid hypothesis should be in prison. Simple as that. Ron's here. Good to see you, Ron. You're not pink or any other shade. Good. You're not late. You will not report to Ted. Fair enough. Ted's a bit busy anyway, I think. Aren't you, Ted? Twiddling the knobs, Ted. But he's not even down there. Where are you, Ted? Oh, there you are. Face down on the desk. Sir! Yes, I shall go and twiddle the knobs. You do that. Good boy. There he is. Knob twiddling. Good. Jonathan, good to see you, mate. I hope things are picking up for you and that the issues that you have been having are coming right. I know it's a tough time for everybody. You made it, Trevor. Good. Yes, an evil kind of creepy. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, it is. It absolutely is. Like, if there's any justice in the world, which I'm starting to doubt, Attia is done. Finished. His career is over. He will now have to sit in silence for the rest of his miserable existence. And I hope it is miserable. I really do, because I cannot abide this kind of evil from anybody. Whether or not Peter Attia was actually actively involved in some of the most heinous parts of what was going on, that's immaterial to what I'm saying with regard to the apparent failure of Attia to act when he was asked to by a victim, and that he continued to have a friendship-style relationship, a collegial, humorous, sending emails backwards and forwards, talking about this and that and the other thing, including talking about, I must come and visit you, etc., beyond the point that he had been shown and established by the legal process to be a person with whom nobody should associate. That's enough. That's evil enough. You're done, Peter Attia. Shut the fuck up permanently. We don't want to hear from you or see you ever again. That's it. We have absolutely no tolerance for this kind of nonsense. When I learned of the Attia-Epstein connection, says Julia, the first thing I thought was, I wonder what Bart K will have to say about this. Well, wonder no more. I'm saying it quite clearly. The allegations are very, very serious indeed. They seem very, very credible based on what I've seen. The paper trail seems to be in place pretty clearly. Attia's name comes up more than 1,700 times in the Epstein files. Okay, so they had a close personal relationship. There's no two ways about that. That's enough. And I'm saying they had a close personal relationship beyond the point where there was no doubt of the legal status of Epstein as to he was a convicted pedophile. Anyone who is a friend of a convicted pedophile is no friend of ours. Humanity, I mean. There's just no excuse for it. None whatsoever. Doesn't matter what he did beyond that. That is enough in and of itself. I hope that's clear. Fact, all longevity experts out there. There aren't any, Jonathan. There are people claiming to be an expert in that, but there aren't actually any. There's no science. Who have they directed toward or redirected towards 100 years of age? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, quite right. And, you know, the obvious ironic joke is that for an expert in longevity, it seems like Peter Attia's career has failed in that respect quite catastrophically, hasn't it? Greetings from the Pacific Northwest. Greetings to you. I hope it's going well over in the Pacific Northwest. I hope it's not too cold. Shouldn't be at this time of year. Hope the sun shines when it ought and the rain pours when it ought and stuff. And that the fine folks up there in Cerule keep doing fine Cerule things. Those of you who are not yet on board with Cerule, get on board with Cerule. These three products here, 1, 2, 3, these are the three you need. The one on the left in the green label is the stem cell release agent. In the middle, in the light blue, is the anti-inflammatory. And on the right in the red is the blood flow optimizer. These are products I stand behind 150 billion%. Not because I'm joint ventured with them and get a small commission off a sale, but because it has changed my life absolutely without question, in my opinion. For my story on that, go and do a search on my YouTube channel and you'll find out the story. That is quite an amazing story. And there's more to come. By the way, there'll be more revelations about various issues, health-wise and stuff, that may well be relevant to myself and at least to my immediate family gene pool, of which I'm a member and therefore probably need to consider, especially based on recent events, shall we say. Yes, the person who had an issue here not that many moons ago, not that many days ago actually, is a close blood relative of mine, and that is a concern based on what occurred. Anyways, that's for another day. Central banks, yes, let's get into central banks. The central banks are the source of corruption. Yes, Rick, I think absolutely the activities of the central banking system, the financial system as it's set up, yes. I think that the central banks are more a tool of that, though, than the actual head of the serpent, perhaps. I think it goes further than that, personally. However, what we do know is that that system is in the throes of failing, has been for a while. The rate at which it's failing is precipitous, and I would suggest that we don't actually have to wait very long to see the fiat money system fail utterly. The current system of the way that governance around the world has been occurring will fail. I think we need to all actually wake up, smell the coffee, and be ready. This is not just, sensationalism for clicks or anything like that. This is a very, very serious issue. If you, dear viewer, are not set to be self-sovereign in terms of, everything, that should be your entire focus, I believe, personally, for the next however long it takes for you to do what you have to do to get it together, actually. Spoiler, ladies and gentlemen, it's everywhere. What's everywhere? Oh, you mean people on that list? Yeah, there are a lot of them. The ones that we knew about and expected all along, of course, are on there. But there are one or two surprising ones as well. And for some people, the Attia thing was a surprise. Not for me. I was like, oh, that's interesting. It's no surprise to me. I'm disgusted. It's disgraceful. I didn't like the man already based on what? When I say I didn't like the man, I've never met the man, Peter Attia. I've never spoken to the man. I did not like anything he had to say on any topic. I thought he was an arrogant, ignorant, incompetent, ill-trained buffoon. I was right. What I didn't know was that he was a nonce as well, it seems, allegedly. Or at least complicit with nonces, which is just as bad, really, isn't it? Okie dokie. Lauren still loves me and there's nothing that I can do about it. I hope that was for me. Otherwise, I'll be very sad. Love you too, and there's nothing you can do about it, even if that wasn't for me. Yes, there are so many scumbags in the world. Yes, scumbags are left, right, and centre, all over the place. 1,700 times. Yeah, it's quite a few, really, isn't it? Mentions for one individual. There are others with more mentions, and there are 3 million files in this pile. Well, it'll be a while before we get through them all, but there are people ferreting away at that and finding out who's who and who's on it and who's not, and who's complicit with it and who isn't. There are all sorts of folks not looking good at all. Today's focus is Peter Attia. He's just one of many, sadly. But this is a cancer that needs to be cut out of society, frankly. If it were up to me, and it isn't, ostracization wouldn't be the end of it. There would be more direct consequences. That's for another day, though. I don't get to make the rules on that. Always remember, power tends to corrupt, yes, and absolute power tends to corrupt, absolutely. Yes, I forgot who said that originally now, but it's a well-known adage, isn't it? These people are spiritually corrupt, and they get off defiling the innocent. It's not just spiritual corruptness, it's corruptness in every sense. In any possible facet you could look at, there is absolutely nothing that would be at all an extenuating circumstance for any human being to behave that way, or to be complicit with anyone who behaves that way knowingly. Hello from New Mexico. Bonsoir from somewhere that speaks French. Are you French? Yes, I'm French. Like the stream. Yes, do like the stream. That would be very good. Yes. Oh my God, glad I clicked on this. It did not say it was live. YouTube. There it is for you. Howdy all. LA Times, longevity guru. No, he's not. He just claims to be. Peter Attia keeps CBS News role despite showing up in the Ep-Steen files. Well, if anyone that watches my material had any scrap or skerrick of respect for CBS left anyway, number one, you're probably in the wrong place because you're not our kind of people. You're too stupid to follow what's going on here. And secondly, well, they might as well just paint horns on themselves, mightn't they? Absolutely incredible that CBS wouldn't say, well, that brings us into ill repute, disrepute, whatever. That's the end of that contract, sunshine. Wow. The world is so fucked, isn't it? Anyways, there it is. Did I think this is just going to blow over and we're just going to forget about it? We're not. Diggy diggy. Hello, friends. Yes, hello. Bitcoin is also mentioned in the files. Yes, but Bitcoin isn't a person, and Bitcoin isn't capable of defiling another human being, especially an innocent childlike one, or even actual child one. Bitcoin is a financial protocol. Yes, it's mentioned, but it's in the mentioned list because it's spoken about in some of the emails. It's one of the terms that you can search and get a response from. What's your point? There are people claiming that Satoshi Nakamoto was Epstein. Absolute fucking nonsense. Rubbish. No. Hilariously, some people have connected dots in the files to theorize. Yeah, exactly. No. Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Yes. Right. What do you think about microbiome? Many things. What's your question? Are they really in symbiosis with us, or are they created us to get food for them? It's symbiotic largely, unless it becomes unbalanced in there and you get an unhealthy build-up or lack of various different speciations that can cause problems. I mean, a person with a healthy functioning microbiome is in a symbiotic relationship with that microbiome. Anyone that has an unhealthy gut system is not in symbiosis with their microbiome. It's got out of whack somehow. What do I think of anarcho-capitalism? You'll need to define that. That's a bit ephemeral. Define exactly what aspect is the issue that you want me to get at a bit, and I'll see if I feel qualified enough to say anything about that or not. Yes, don't forget to like, as we've said. Very good. If fiat goes to zero, would that not shut everything down? No, that would cause a repricing of everything to a still functional financial protocol, and that will be Bitcoin, probably, and Ethereum to a lesser degree, it seems. Depending on exactly when it happens, who knows? It might be that they're equal partners, or that Ethereum becomes the stronger partner. Don't know about that yet enough. Either of those two would seem to be likely to continue beyond the breakdown of the fiat system. Yes, of course, there'll be civil unrest. There'll be violence and destruction and death and mayhem, absolutely. And I'm not praising that as a great thing. I'm just saying it will happen. Be ready, I guess. Right. But will Peter and others ever be held accountable? It seems unlikely. Sadly, the longer I'm on this planet, the less faith I have in humanity at large. There are pockets of humanity with whom I have great affinity, and I have great faith in various parts of humanity, and indeed particular individuals I'm quite fond of and get along with really well and have great faith in, particularly. But humanity at large, sadly, on average, the average human being, if such a thing exists, is vastly stupid, unintelligent to an unbelievable degree, pliable, malleable, controllable, timid, weak, flawed in the extreme. And as such, most of those people end up in the Houses of Parliament around the place. That's before you start getting to the overtly evil characters, those with nefarious purpose behind the scenes. The globalists, for example. Them, the great they, those globalists. We know who they are. They know who they are. And I think POTUS is doing a great job, by the way, of countering that stuff. I'm not saying POTUS is a great orator. He's not. He's awful. Dreadful orator. I'm not saying POTUS has great personal charisma. God, anything but the opposite is true. He's awful in that regard. But what he's doing is smack on the nose. He is dealing with it in ways that the average, incredibly stupid human being cannot even comprehend, let alone see it happening. And long may it continue. All right. He's sadly gifted enough people to be very comfortable as a recluse. Or grifted, that's supposed to be. He's sadly grifted enough. Yes, I'm not saying that Peter Attia is going to suffer financially. He's probably not. What would be quite good, though, is if he did end up incarcerated somewhere and suffer some of the abuse of the kind, quid pro quo and all that, perhaps. That's just my opinion. It doesn't have to be anybody else's. And let's all remember that this is all caveated with allegedly. Allegedly, of course, it's all allegedly. There are those that are even stupid enough to say all of these emails have been written by somebody else. It's all a fallacious make-up. No, it fucking isn't. Jesus, are we serious? Yeah, they will not what? Don't know. Something that Golden Girl was talking about. All right. Yes, thank you. I'm aware of the topic that I'm talking about a bit, as carefully as I possibly can. I'm trying to stay within the realms of facts and say allegedly this and allegedly that, and it seems like this, and my opinion is that. Yeah. Lol. Very good. Very good. Yes. The People's Republic of New Mexico. What is the People's Republic of New Mexico? I wonder what the new shipment is they were speaking about. Well, I can tell you it wasn't metformin, as was claimed. It was metformin. No, I don't think so. Apparently also, according to not really a Dr. Attia, pussy is indeed low carb. Tee-hee, that's hilarious. Sure, I make those kind of silly jokes myself, and it doesn't make me one of those people. And it's not in and of itself enough to hang somebody for making a off-color joke of that kind, or a lewd joke of that kind, I should say. What did he do? It is above question, beyond question, that Peter Attia continued to have and hold a close personal relationship of a friendship style with Jeffrey Epstein beyond the point at which Epstein had been convicted as a pedophile. That is definite. That is enough. Whether he was complicit with any of the illegal activities beyond that doesn't matter. That would make things vastly worse, of course, but continuing to associate with and be a friend of that individual, knowing that information about him, it's enough. It's all we need. Frankly, don't you think? If you don't, you're in the wrong place. You might as well click off now. I think the current UK Prime Minister is about to find out that it is enough. Finally, he will have to go. That's great. It's well past time that man should have gone, and the king should have made him go already. But the king has been absolutely destitute. He's failed to do the one job that the king has, really, and that is to hold the UK government to account. Well, that's going to blow up in everybody's face massively. I mean, he had the courage to deal with his own brother, but not to deal with a peer of the House of Lords, who was a close friend of the current UK Prime Minister, and was appointed by that UK Prime Minister, knowing full well that UK Prime Minister, that peer of the House, was also a close personal friend of Jeffrey Epstein. He'll have to go. If compulsory digital ID wasn't enough for the king to say, well, you'll have to go. If claiming that investigating Pakistani rape gangs was racist and he wasn't going to do it, despite the clear evidence that it was going on, if that wasn't enough, this will be enough. Has to be. There's no two ways about that. Just my opinion. Doesn't have to be anybody else's. There it is. How's the farm coming along? Yeah, we're getting there. It's not something that, I mean, there's no getting on top of it. You know, you can't say, oh, I'm on top of it now. No, it's like painting the harbour bridge. It's an ongoing process. We did suffer quite a lot of damage and backwards progress as a result of the two major flooding events that occurred in our first year here. Nonetheless, we continue to build things and put protocols in place and make it all happen the way it should, and we continue to spend money hand over fist to make all of that happen. We continue to rage against the machine and try and hold back nature herself and all of that. It's, you know, I'd still prefer to be doing what we're doing than work a job or, you know, live in a city on a postage stamp-sized plot of land in a house on top of a bunch of other people, fight my way through traffic to get to another small box to sit in to do something I don't want to do for somebody else. Yeah, it has its own challenges, but it's great, and I wouldn't change it. Yeah. Yes. Well, as it turns out, Attia is clearly hasn't been fully clear with people about his level of expertise and credentials. I mean, he's entitled to call himself MD. He's got the qualification. But what he does not have is any completed residency, apparently, i.e. no board certification of any kind in any field of medicine. There is some talk of him having done most of a surgical rotation, but most isn't good enough. I mean, would you go and sit in a doctor's office and get a consult on a surgical procedure for someone who did most of the training? I wouldn't, personally. And this is a bloke claiming to be an expert in cardiovascular pathophysiology while saying things about cardiovascular pathophysiology that are patently, demonstrably, absolutely, unequivocally false, wrong, like cholesterol causes heart disease, LDL causes heart disease, statins are indicated, we should all be on statins, I'm on statins, they're great. No. This is a bloke claiming also to be an expert in exercise physiology, talking about the energetics of muscle contraction and getting that vastly, hideously, hugely, completely wrong, actually, irretrievably wrong. And as it turns out, a bloke who knows dick about fuck regarding longevity either. Although perhaps I should take that back. If he's still able to maintain a plum job at CBS, despite his known association and friendship with a convicted pedophile, well, what does that say about the world? It's disappointing, extremely disappointing, but there it is. Yes. Hello, Michael. Ivor Cummins did a great YouTube today. I'm glad Ivor Cummins did a good YouTube today. Yes, do hit the like button, just as another reminder. You know the digital ID is coming. It's already here. They've already started to roll it out in New Zealand as well. What do you plan on doing to avoid that? I will not comply. This is why I'm talking about the need for self-sovereignty, among other reasons. I will not comply. And it is the solemn responsibility of every human being listening and of those not listening, it's still your responsibility, to similarly refuse absolutely to comply. It is a digital prison. Its sole purpose is to exert control over you, your family, your finances, your social credit, your access to society. It is not acceptable. It is not for your safety. It is not to prevent illegals. It is not any of the ridiculous, farcical excuses they are giving you. Do not comply. No to any form of digital ID. No under any circumstances. That's my opinion. Disclaimed as such. Yes. If fiat fails, how will I survive personally? Well, on this property, we have water, which we source ourselves from a well. We have electricity, which we generate ourselves. We have food in the form of livestock. We have digital currency to transact with others who are awake. We have plans regarding the security of this property. It's still an ongoing thing. We're still working towards it, and hopefully we get it all organised before the fit does hit the shan, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. But there it is. Yeah. Yes, quite right. The failure of the central banking system is built into it. It's designed to fail. Absolutely. It's supposed to. It's controlled demolition. You're quite right. As a solution to the problem they created, they will implement these central bank digital currencies, which they can program, control, and limit where you can spend them, with whom you can spend them, and in what degree or amount you can spend them, depending on your social credit score. You are not allowed to buy petrol. You've already had your carbon credits. You can't buy food this week. You've had too much, fatty. You can't buy a train ticket to travel. You're not allowed to. Your social credit score doesn't allow you to travel. For example, these are not exaggerations, folks. Oh, yes, but that's only in China. No, imbecile. Those of you that said that or say that or believe that, that couldn't happen here. Yes, it could. It is happening. And most people are blindly allowing it to happen because, number one, they can't see it coming. And number two, most of them lack the intestinal fortitude, the testicular fortitude, and the erect spine to stand up, look the man in the eye, and say, no, we will not comply. Okay, so there it is, basically. How can a single guy send 3 million emails? They're not all emails written by that one individual. They're not all emails. The files are various formats. Many of them are pictures and videos taken by those with nefarious purpose doing nefarious things. A proportion of the files are emails. There are many folks involved. These are emails going back, many, many years. So that's how they build up to such numbers. DS111. I'm lost, Coach Juliet. I'm lost. Help me. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only help. DS111. It rings a bell. That's something I should recognize, but I don't. I can't put my finger on what that is right now. Whose eyes can you see the evil in? Many people's, perhaps. It's us against all the governments around the world. Well, yes and no. Many, not all, many of the governments around the world are simply pawns, tools, patsies of the evil globalist empire that has been planning to take over the world for a number of decades. And it seems that they nearly achieved it, very, very nearly achieved it, apart from the efforts of POTUS and his administration, it seems. And I think that he has done more damage to them and set them in their course back further than any other living human being has ever done, despite his abrasive communication style, despite his, in my opinion, singular lack of charisma, despite his awful orating skills. He's actually doing the right thing in the right way, exerting the power he does have with enough force to get what needs to happen, without actually unleashing the actual power that he actually does have at his command. And I think that's really impressive. It's like an adult instructing a child and making it clear to that child how they should behave without having to actually follow through, shall we say, on stuff like corporal punishment, for example, which I'm not necessarily a fan of when it's necessary. If that's the only way to get through to somebody that is a child with the appropriate level of force and love, and it should be corporal punishment should be, I believe, administered by a parent and nobody else. I don't think, maybe a very close relative. And I guess what I'm saying is that current POTUS seems to be the responsible adult in politics. And some people might think that's a frightening thought, in which case you're allowing Trump derangement syndrome, I think, to affect you. You're not objectively looking at the actions of the man and understanding the actions of the man and ignoring the foibles, faults, and flaws of the man, which I think I've mentioned several times already, so we don't need to go over that again. They say he sent 6 million emails. What a strange number. Who's they? There's all sorts of things being said by all sorts of people. I'm basing my comments, whatever those comments may be today, on what I personally have seen reported on the X platform, mostly, because that's where I get my news these days and pretty much nowhere else. Because, well, beyond the X platform, who's trustworthy? Apparently CBS. Give me a break. Really? Dear oh dear. Dear oh dear oh dear. Do I have any videos on germ theory? No, I don't. To me, the whole germ theory, terrain theory thing is really very akin to flat earthery. It really is. It's a whole area that people that really have no understanding or comprehension of what they're talking about dive into, making themselves out to be experts in that and thinking that they understand things that the rest of the people don't. They're much smarter than everybody else. Well, as a person who genuinely is much smarter than most everybody else, I find that a bit offensive because it's pretty stupid. Okay? All right. Somebody help John James out, please. In that future, you mean the dystopian future, that you and Rick pondered as I came in here, cities will need to be avoided at all costs. Yes. Plus, if you're going to be out rural somewhere like what we are, you need to be prepared, shall we say, to defend that as well. That's just a sad fact of reality, isn't it? When the shit hits the fan and society breaks down, as it will, and systems break down, as they will, and services cease, as they will, there will be people that will come and try and take what you've got from you. You need to be able to prevent that. Well, that's good. Keep it that way. Yeah. No, I was not. No. Yeah. Power attracts the worst and corrupts the best. Okay. So there are 3 million more Ep-Steen files that have not been put out. It wouldn't surprise me. Good evening, Bride's Biscuit. Nice to see you here. Were you late? In which case, report to Ted after class, down the back, where he's got that small guillotine. Yes, report down the back. Thanks, Ted. You go and twiddle the knobs as you do. Yep. Okay. All right, how long have I been crapping on for? 50 minutes. That's enough. It's really good to see you. It's been a busy time. There's a lot going on. I've got to go and do a lot of other things. I'm trying to run a farm as well as 3 businesses. Shorthanded, and not only shorthanded, but also we have to do a bit more than we were having to do previously to help out the person who has been affected by the health problem. So I will jump off now. Thanks for being here. I just needed to respond to all of this, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Stick around. I won't disappear forever. I will be back. Ciao for now.